Buongiorno YouTube.
Buongiorno.
Trevor here, Summit or Nothing.
And Nathan.
He's also Summit or Nothing.
Yeah.
And we are here inside the Nature Hike Cloud Up 2.
The Nature Hike Cloud Up 2 Mirage Hubbub Banshee 1 3-man top.
And we've got a bit of a video here, something extra. We've been tagged by Lee of Burton Outdoors.
Alright tubers.
A discussion on our favourite adventures. Now I don't quite know the actual criteria for this. Basically you tag 5 people, you give your own 5 experiences, your favourite adventures so far, then you ask the people you've tagged to do the same.
Trevor Nath, Summit or Nothing. Whether you want to do it, Trevor Nath, that's up to you. But I'd like to see one if you could.
We'll get on with that in a minute, but first of all, we've received another gift from another YouTuber, fellow YouTuber Mike, Cornish Knives and Camping. Hashtag stay Cornish.
Hashtag stay Cornish.
Now,
hello Mike.
Mike, you didn't need to do this. It's very generous of you. I feel terrible now because you've purchased 2 t-shirts from me, so we'll sort you something out for this, mate. Unless we really don't like it.
What have we got, Trevor?
Getting in the packaging.
It's well wrapped, Mike, I'll say that.
Well wrapped, Mike. God, Mike is well wrapped. I can't get in here. I've got to put me back in it.
It's very similar to watching him put up his top for the first time.
Well, there we go. We've got our own Stay Cornish, Cornish Knives and Camping mugs.
You know what would go well in there, didn't you?
Coffee chocolates.
Yeah.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Thank you ever so much for those, Mike.
Cheers, Mike.
We'll take them out. Little advertisement for Cornish Knives and Camping now on every Summit or Nothing adventure.
Proud addition to the kit.
Thank you, Mike.
Cheers, buddy.
Anyway, now we're going to get on with our adventures tag. Then we'll go into our 5 nominations. My first one I'd like to discuss was a bit of an adventure. I think it was about 12, 13 years ago. I went to New Zealand. New Zealand just called out to me really because of my love for mountains. Even before I was going up them, I just loved them. And I wanted to go somewhere where there was a lot of mountains, a variety of nature. But it was such an adventure for me because I had 6 weeks there. We travelled around practically both islands. You know, I'd done a whole load of stuff. I didn't do a skydive, which is what a lot of people do over there. I didn't do a bungee jump. That's not my sort of thing. I was hoping to do shark diving, but it was the wrong time of year. What I did do was whale spotting. We was going to do dolphin swimming, but the day that we went, I actually had really bad diarrhea. That was off of Kaikoura, and actually some protesters had poisoned the water source when we was over there with the chemical that they used to kill possums. The true story. What I did do was white water rafting. I also done black water rafting, which was sort of you given an inner tube and you go through some caves, pitch black, with glowworms on the ceilings, and that was fantastic. But I did do a full day glacier hike up Franz Josef Glacier. I'd love to go back there and do more. I'd love to go back there and see some mountains, Mount Cook and things like that. See if, you know, hiking up there is an option. One day I'd love to get back. So that was my first choice. Nath?
Yeah, my first choice isn't anywhere near as adventurous as sort of New Zealand, but when I was at school, I always wanted to, for as long as I can remember, go off and join the army, and that's what I wanted to do as a career. So at the age of 16, all of a sudden, I'd arrived at the barracks on day 1, and sort of there I was in training. There was loads of wonderful people from all different walks of life that you're going to meet, but it was the outdoors element, the assault courses, the rock climbing, the whitewater rafting, the leadership and initiative, the hiking, the map reading, the navigation, hiding in a woodland somewhere buried in an 18-inch deep shell scrape that they've all dug themselves under some tarp, sleeping in a puddle with an assault rifle loaded with blanks waiting for someone to jump out at you. There were many things about it that were a great adventure, and you've got to take your hat off to any of the British servicemen and what they go through. I mean, I only experienced phase 1 and phase 2 training. I never made it to regiment for my own personal reasons. It was a big eye-opener. I am not a violent person. I am not a natural aggressive person. I am not in any way a trained killer. but it did cement within me my sense of adventure and my love of the outdoors and my wanting to go out and explore it some more. So yeah, that was my first great adventure in my life.
My next adventure, and it's sort of not an adventure, but it is an adventure. It was something that I just wanted to see if I could do, if I had the patience, the skill, and it was make a film. As I said, before Summit or Nothing, I wasn't really adventurous at all. And basically we spent a year making a film that I'd written and I directed myself. Nathan happened to be in it. It was just with friends. It wasn't a high budget. It actually had no budget. The only cost was a parking fine we got for filming in a service station all day. The film was called Need for Weed, and it's no lie to sort of admit that it is a bit of a biography in a sense. It's half of the reason I hadn't done any adventures. I had wasted a lot of years smoking weed.
You know what your trouble is? You've got no drive, no motivation.
Weed's my motivation.
That kind of proves my point. Weed's not a motivator, it's an anchor. And it's kept you two pinned in the same spot for years.
What would you know? You don't even smoke weed.
I've found other things in my life to keep me moving. Haven't either of you two ever had a dream?
Yeah, I've dreams all the time. Sleeping with two lesbians.
Yeah, so they can ignore you because they're lesbians.
I'd just met Donna, we'd got married, we'd had our first child together, and I was leaving that world behind. And this was a reflection of that world. It took us a year to make. It was hard to sort of get everyone together all the time and to keep their enthusiasm up during the making of it. Much like we do with Summit or Nothing, we put it out first in a web series, which got a great reception every week. Then we put the finished film together all as one. I actually entered it into a competition we saw on Facebook, which was an international competition being run from Australia. It's voted for by the public, and we actually went on to win. So it was quite an achievement. That film's up on YouTube if should you want to watch it. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but yeah, that's an adventure for me.
Yeah, so my second sort of big adventure sort of came a couple of years ago actually. It was at another turning point in my life where I'd sort of found myself landed on my backside a little bit. I spent a couple of years as a recluse living in caravans and sort of on the good grace of other people. Some of the people that helped me through that time were my friends Roger Marks, Mark Cooley and Dan Tucker, who I played poker with. In that time I managed to save some money together and sort of got a deposit and bought my first house, which was wonderful. And then after that, sort of we all sort of decided that we were going to go on a sort of a lads holiday, but being the people they are, it couldn't just be a lads holiday, so we decided to enter into a crumble run. So we had to buy 2 cars for under £500 that were really quite ropey at the start, let alone whether they were going to make it the whole way. We went to the Channel Tunnel, crossed into France. Euro 2016 was on at the time. We were in Reims when France, I think, beat Germany maybe. We seen street riots, there was tear gas.
Okay, so night one, we haven't even got to the start line yet. Been tear gassed twice, in the middle of a riot police, and there's a fire going on, which I'm going to show you now.
You know, people criticise the British for being football hooligans, but you know, this was my first-hand experience of it, and the French are just as bad. Yeah, so we went through France, Switzerland, Italy, Austria, Bavaria, Germany, and ended up in the Czech Republic, having all sorts of shenanigans on the way over a 3 or 4 day period, in fancy dress at times, sort of trying to achieve challenges, but just generally sort of going to these different places, even if only for the briefest of moments, like a brief stop in Italy, just to have a pizza in Italy before shooting off to the next place, like, you know. It's something that we hope to replicate again next year, maybe with a slightly different sort of tack, but similar sort of ideas, I guess, with the same guys. So yeah, really appreciate you sort of pulling me through the hard times, guys, and the reward at the end of it was amazing. So yeah, that was my second sort of big adventure of my life, really.
Now, the final adventure, you might think this is a cop-out, but it has been an adventure. It's Summit or Nothing. You know, we've been out on a couple of hikes. We decided we was going to do the 3 biggest peaks of the UK, and just the past sort of 2.5 years has just been the biggest adventure of our life. And I know, me personally, it's turned my life around. I'm doing things that I'd never dreamt of doing. I've seen things that I'd never dreamt I'd see. We've done a wild camp on Cadair Idris, stood at the highest point in the UK, Wales and England. It's changed my outlook on life, it's changed my family's outlook on life. You know, we're all outdoorsy and we weren't before. We look for different things when we're going out now. It's not all about taking the kids out to a theme park and spending a fortune. You know, we're National Trust members. We take them out around woodland, to moorland and out to cliff walks and waterfalls, and you know, they're loving it, we're loving it. It's just changed everything.
Prior to Summit or Nothing, if I was taking time off, I'd take time off literally to do nothing. Or I've taken time off to go and see my folks and help do some outbuilding that they're working on. Or I've taken time off just to sit at home, watch films and generally do nothing and just enjoy the peace and quiet. But now, rather than sort of, we're not like booking holidays, but there are punctuation points throughout my year where we'll book a long weekend and it's like, oh, we're going to this mountain, we're doing this. It is an adventure from the moment we get in the car together and sort of head off to the moment we get back. It's all part of it, and it is something that I look forward to. And I enjoy it as well when people are like, oh, what did you get up to at the weekend? Oh, I went camping on Dartmoor. You do realise it's January, right? Yes, I do realise it's January, yeah. Are you crazy? No, I'm not, but, you know, what did you do that was so interesting? It is Summit or Nothing is something that I'm very proud to be a part of.
And it's putting us out of our comfort zones and getting us to do things that we wouldn't necessarily have done before. You know, when you're on your deathbed, it's these things that you're going to look back and just say, those were the moments.
You know, my granddad, who is no longer with us and hasn't been for some years, he'd always enjoyed the mountains, and it is always something that I looked to do and sort of spoken about and never really got round to until Something or Nothing cropped up. It was just an armchair adventure, like, you know, it was just a pipe dream. But now it's a reality, and it's not even anywhere near getting started, like, you know what I mean? You know, there's so much left to do out there. There's no end of adventures to be had, and I couldn't be happier to sort of know that they're just over the horizon and that we're constantly working towards it. And it just makes it so much more enjoyable to know that there are people out there enjoying our adventures when we share it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. So thank you, Lee Burton Outdoors. Thanks for the tag. That was our 5 adventures. Links to Lee's channel in the description below, and Mike, Cornish Knives and Camping.
Hashtag stay Cornish.
Check out their channels. Now it's our turn to tag other people. Now I'm tagging people who I would sincerely like to hear what their adventures are, because they're in either different walks of life than us, different countries, of a different age. Just from seeing their own channels and what adventures they've been on their channels, it'd be interesting to hear what their favourite adventures are, either from the channel or before. First channel I'm going to nominate is 2 Feet Forward, Austin and Lucy. Now, I tell them all the time when I watch their videos, they are just inspiring. They've been to some fantastic places, you know, they're travelling further afield. The videography is just second to none, and they seem like genuine, fantastic people. I find them inspiring, and if my videos ever look half as good as theirs, then I'll be happy. The second channel I'm going to nominate is actually friends with 2 Feet Forward, and it's Scott of Explorer Buddies. He's been on some great trips. Sometimes he takes his camper van, sometimes he camps up. You know, I've seen a couple of videos where he's camped on Cadair Idris when we was looking at other videos before we were going up to get some idea of what we were facing. His videos were a great help, and again, just impeccable videos, fantastic. He's got just a great eye for the filming, and again, another genuinely nice bloke. He just seems really down to earth. So Scott, Explorer Buddies, I hope that you take the time to respond to this nomination. Next is a chap, he's only just sort of started out recently doing videos. He resides in the Bighorn National Forest in Wyoming, and it's Max from Hike Camp. He's a bit older now, he's a pensioner, he admits it himself, he's not as up for the adventure, but I'd just love to know what adventures you've been on in that part of the world, because we can't sort of imagine living over there. We got Dartmoor and that, but it's nothing compared to this massive national park that you've got. So I'd love to hear your favourite adventures from the past. Max is another genuine guy, a nice chap. So again, check out his videos, link below. Secondly, another stateside channel is Touring Taste Buds, Chad and Steph. Now they go on some great adventures, take you to some great places. Their videos are short, snappy. They're a lovely couple. They've just renovated an Airstream, so no doubt their adventures are going to just pick up and take off from here on in. Another great channel. I love watching their videos, and I think you would too. So Chad and Steph, we'd love to hear your favourite adventures if you would be so kind. And last but definitely not least is Carly from Last Grown Up in the Woods. She's based in Canada, so she's in bear territory. Her videos are just funny. She's just got this real great sense of humour. She's got a real love and knowledge of the outdoors that you know, I'm completely jealous of how knowledgeable she is. But her videos are really well put together, and she's just hilarious, great fun. So Carly, I'd really love you to be able to tell us your adventures, again, from a completely different part of the world to us.
But one of the things about these people in foreign countries, you know, stateside or whatever, is the fact that over here the worst sort of wildlife we have to contend with is possibly an adder. For me, horseflies, you know, really dangerous. But to think that some of these people might have to cope with the thought of wolves and bears, you know, other assorted snakes, poisonous spiders.
Which is exactly why I'd find it so interesting to hear your adventures. And Scott, Austin and Lucy, just from the adventures I've seen you guys go on, I just think, where have you been before? What have you done? I'd love to get that insight into your lives. Fantastic.
Awesome.
So that's our video. There's links below to all the channels that we've mentioned. So thank you for watching. We've been Summing or Nothing. Word.
Word.